Hey guys, how you doing? This is Bear with Bear's Den Acrylic Art, and I am back with another painting video. Thank you for joining me. So tonight I have an 18 by 20 traditional edge canvas, and what I want to try on this is a ribbon pour. Now, in my head, let me explain this. In my head, this is going to be something like a dark sky over an ocean, and I am going to then swipe, like the northern lights, so to speak. And this isn't as much about, contrasting color. I'm not trying to throw a ton of color in this. This, in my head, is more playing the vertical against the horizontal. So I really want to play with composition tonight. So I have a whole bunch of blues and a couple piggies along for the ride. And the pigments I have are Macaw and Shimmer, or Glisten. I'll have to double check. Those are going to act as the northern lights, and the rest of the blues are going to constitute the ocean and then the dark sky. So let me get my cups all layered, and I will meet you right back here, and we'll see if I can't make this happen. So stick around. Okay. I got everything layered. I think I am ready to actually take a stab at this. So let me explain how I am going to divvy up this canvas. So my ocean colors, and I'm going to actually be pouring the ocean furthest away from me. That way, when it comes time to do the upward swipe, I'm not swiping away from me. I much prefer to swipe towards me. And the ocean's only going to be about the bottom third. So the rest of this is going to be the sky, so to speak, just so the, so I have space to actually, swipe up. So the ocean colors we have layered, what do I have? I have Amsterdam Idanthrene blue. I have Liquitex Phtalo blue. I have Deco Art Dazzling Metallics Ice blue mixed with a little Extreme Sheen Sapphire, and the Arteza Pearl Glacier blue. And I wanted to include a pearl and a metallic just to kind of balance out what's going to be kind of shiny and shimmery at the top portion of the canvas. So, no idea if this is going to work, but I'm going to do it anyway. So, wish me luck, because regardless of how it succeeds or how it fails, I am still recording and I am still going to post this. So, wish me luck. So we're just trying to keep this as even as possible. And I have to say, I am genuinely weirded out by the fact that I don't have a base coat down, because I can't tell you the last time I didn't have a base coat. But I do have the edges painted, because even though I'm going to tilt this just in case, this is just an insurance policy just to make sure there is coverage. Okay. That looks pretty cool. I didn't want anything too bright, but I did want, you know, a couple different shades. So next I have for the sky in 3 very wide bands, from lightest to darkest. Lightest is going to be the Soho Urban Artist Prussian Blue. Then I have the Lucas Krill Indigo. And then topping it off, I have the Atelier Interactive Indigo Blue Black. So, hopefully I have enough. If not, well, I'll make do. So again, oh, and I got a glob. Figured that was going to happen. All right, so now the indigo is coming out. I have a feeling this is going to be less successful than I want it to be, because I grossly underestimated how much paint I would need in the cup. However, I do have some right on standby. But before I do anything, where are my tweezers? Before I do anything, this needs to go. All right. So far it looks pretty cool, I have to say. So I will just go back in with, this is the blue black indigo. And then I'll do a couple stripes of the Lucas Krill Indigo. Yeah, this is actually the first time I've ever attempted a ring pour. And, you know, the reason being is, you know, I don't do too many techniques where I have to, you know, tilt the canvas, because I had shoulder surgery a little while ago and it did not heal correctly. So I'm trying to work that out with physical therapy, hoping to avoid, you know, needing another procedure. But the rotator cuff, as it turns out, is fairly important. And, you know, I've said before, I am a music teacher by trade. So 20 years of, you know, conducting choirs and, you know, gesturing grandly have definitely caught up with me. But no pain, no gain. So we are we're gonna see what this looks like. But first, we're gonna pop. You need to be careful not to actually burn the parts of the canvas that are still exposed, because that is something I would definitely do. Because I don't know about you, but I am clumsy. All right, so let's give this a try. Now, it probably would have been smart to take my watch off and get my gloves ahead of time, but oh well. So what I'm gonna do is, I guess, first tilt on the horizontal, just to try and get all of the edges covered and maybe disperse some of, you know, the weight of the paint, because there is a lot of paint on this canvas. You know, but that's not a bad thing, because then I will have plenty of paint to scrape up and add to my extras. All right, so let's give this a shot. Oh yeah, this is heavy. All right, so just going to tilt. And now, okay, let's keep going. So I'm going to tilt it down to try and get the bottom covered. And now I'm going to stretch come on, there we go. All right, my ocean got kind of jacked up, but we'll see if that can't be remedied in some way. I do have a bare spot on the corner. But that is okay. So what I will do now is lose the gloves. And then I am going to take my popsicle stick. Actually, no, there's enough left in here. Very good. Okay. It's a lot of blue. But what I like about this is that for the most part, you know, even though, you know, the bands within, got a ton of air bubbles. Good Lord. You know, the bands within aren't necessarily horizontal. Overall, the composition is blocked. So, you know, it is. And I might actually come in with my palette knife and, you know, maybe try and accentuate some of these, you know, shapes to make them more wave-like. And I hope the glare isn't too bad for you. All right. And there are big, thick bands of the Prussian blue, the indigo, and the blue-black indigo, which will, you know, really contrast. You know, all of it really going this way will contrast nicely with the swipes going this way. So we have first, let's see, this is the Glisten, I think it is. And then the Macaw. Yes. So the Macaw is going to be the primary, you know, I'm just going to layer them. And there is a little fly or a little gnat or something going around this light, and if it lands in the paint, well, it's gonna drown. So, with the Aurora, if I were doing this with brushes, you know, I would put in, you know, like a curve, and then using like a mop brush, I would, you know, just kind of paint in an upward direction to give it this wispy, you know, effect. But since this is fluid acrylics, we're going to try it this way. So I don't want to go too heavy-handed, but this should give you an idea. All right, so just something like that. And then I will come in just behind it with the second piggy. All right. So I have about 1 million of these little thin strips of dampened paper towel. Whenever you are doing a swipe, a damp paper towel works so much better than a dripping wet paper towel, because you don't want the paper towel to actually, you know, dig into the surface and gouge the canvas. So just damp is good. So I am going to lay this just in front of the piggies, let it fall, and then twist. And then drag. So that looks pretty cool. So let's keep going. Same thing. Lay it down just ahead of the pigment. Let it fall. Pivot. That actually looks really cool because in addition to the interference color from the pigments, you also have some natural cells forming. So this will have a lot of visual interest. So let's just keep going. And I'm actually pulling up a little bit before I get to the edge because I don't want, I don't want it to, look super solid, if at all possible. And again, this is me trying this for the first time. So this might work, it might not, but, again, good, bad, or indifferent, we're doing it. So just starting to pull up. And that way, it does start to kind of dissipate as it gets towards the edge. I probably should have done that over here, but again, what are you going to do? All right, so now that we're in this spot where it's kind of hooked back on itself, this should hold that shape, or not. All right, so then this last one. Right, pretty good. So let's try this again. Now, of course, as this dries, a lot of the white from the pouring medium that the pigments are mixed in will dry clear, so it won't look as saturated. just going to keep working our way across. It's given me like these really little cells, which is actually pretty kind of cool. So let's dip down. I might have to, if I haven't done so already, I'll probably speed this up just because this is a whole lot of me just swiping. So not terribly exciting. But pulling up towards the end. Sorry, when I'm concentrating, I tend to get quiet. I actually wanted to have this done earlier, but Sundays I drive down to my mother's for dinner. She's only about 45 minutes away. And my sister-in-law was there tonight, whom I have not seen in a very, very long time. With my niece, and I stayed and visited with them, which really was great, but consequently I got home late and then it took me a minute to mix everything. right. So let's wrap this one. And of course, there's one tiny little section left, so I'm just going to use my palette knife to try and fix that. This does look pretty cool. I don't know if it's really giving me Northern Lights vibe, but I don't know. It's a really great texture, and you'll be able to see it when I bring you in for the close-up. So let me do this last section here. Let's see. We're gonna put him right there. Let's not knock that over. Yeah, if you guys have done a painting like this before or have tried doing, you know, Northern Lights, you'll have to comment and tell me what has worked for you. Because, you know, I've only ever tried this, like I said, with my brushes, you know, using like a wet on wet technique. But I wanted to see if I could try and do this with, you know, fluid acrylic. Just now that was less successful than I wanted it to be, but oh well. All right, so I think what I might do, how many okay. Let me pause you guys, and I am going to cut a few more strips because I want to try and I didn't realize when I was doing this how it was like, you know, big, small, big, small. So I might try and bring this down a little bit. So yeah, let me pause you guys, cut some paper, and I will be right back. Okay, thank you for bearing with me. I was able to you know, check it out from your vantage point, and I really do kind of like it. A couple things I'm going to fiddle with, but overall, I'm kind of digging this. But I do want to extend this one down a little bit. So, now how far down do I want to go? I want to go that far down. My God, it looks like a Smurf exploded. So much blue. So just a whole lot more of the same. But this time I am going to keep contact as I swipe over what was there. Yeah, I kind of like that better. And I'm just tearing the end off of the strip of paper towel just so I have a little bit more control. And once I hit the portion that I swiped, prior, that's when I'm starting to, pull up a little bit on the paper towel. Someone commented on the painting that I did last night, which actually kind of inspired this. I tried using the Deco Art Enchanted series, and I've just been seeing so many artists have such really great success with it. And I tried my hand at it, and it was not successful. So I fought tooth and nail to get a composition that, at the time I was okay with. It was just kind of like a stalemate, I think is what I called it. And, this woman commented on, the fact that the northern lights that I had in that painting were kind of pink, or reddish pink, like a magenta, as opposed to the green, which is what we are all kind of accustomed to seeing. Now, fun fact is that the color of the aurora depends on what element is present in the atmosphere. I had said in one of my previous videos that I really wanted to be an astronomer until, I discovered how much math was involved. So yeah, with you know, aurora that is red, magenta, I believe that it is charged nitrogen atoms. And for green, I want to say it's oxygen, but I could be wrong. And I've always really been fascinated with the aurora, and it is definitely on my bucket list. I'm always just incredibly jealous of people who have had the opportunity to view them, because I have yet to have that opportunity. Okay. And for this little straggler, all right, well, overall, ladies and gentlemen, I have to say that I am kind of pleased with how this turned out. Like I said, I'm probably going to use my my palette knife or maybe a straw and blow you know, some of these waves out a little bit, just to give it more, I don't know, turbulence, I guess, for lack of a better word. But let me bring you in and show you what I have been looking at this whole time, because there's a lot of really great it's really lacing with a couple of cells. But let me bring you in and you can see for yourself. Okay, so I had to turn off the overhead light, but I just wanted to show you, you know, all I'm really doing, like I said, to kind of just bring out some more wave shapes. You know, I am just going in with the palette knife and just finding a peak and just making the shape. So that way it just gives it a little bit more movement. You know, overall, I'm really kind of happy with how this turned out. And this is the corner that I had to pour back over. I just dragged a little bit of color just to break that up. But the star of the show, the aurora, so to speak, now you can see, zoom in, you can see how much really cool, you know, lacing showed up. And I'm guessing it is because, you know, the pigments I mixed with, you know, there's a pretty healthy squirt of GAC 800 in there. So I guess that is what gives this effect. You know, some of these, the way they kind of billow, it almost looks like the reaction the Vallejo Pearl Pouring Medium has with titanium white. So yeah, so as we pull back, This is my Aurora pour. I might fiddle with it a little bit, but you get the idea. I'm pretty happy with how this turned out. So if you guys have any suggestions, please feel free to leave them in a comment below. Well, thank you everybody once again for sticking around and watching this painting video. I have been having a lot of fun making them and reading the comments you all have been leaving, so please don't stop. And if you are new, please consider hitting that subscribe button. That just helps me out. Hit like, hit share, leave a comment, please. Yeah, this has been a lot of fun, and I really like how this turned out. So we'll see what it looks like when it dries, so, fingers crossed. But yeah, so you all have a good rest of your evening, and let's all do our best to get through Monday. So this is Bear with Bear's Den Acrylic Art. You all have a good night.